Hey guys, welcome back. We are here on day 21 of our First 40, where we are taking the first 40 days of 2019, and we are just seeking the face of God from January 1st to February 9. We're praying, fasting, in the Word, seeking God's presence, and I want to thank you so much for taking time to join me today. And I hope and pray that these videos have been encouraging and that you are sharing them with your friends, with your family members. Whether or not they're engaged in the fast, I think is not important. Just an encouraging word to help people along the way in their own spiritual walk. So please watch, like, and share. Now today, I just want to share a brief word with you that God really revealed to me as I was reading the Word this afternoon. And it comes from the book of Matthew, chapter 19, chapter 20, primarily chapter 19, chapter 20, where we see like this, I'm seeing this theme emerge that I really think is relevant to us. So you know the story of the rich young ruler who comes to Jesus and is like, hey, what must I do to be saved? And Jesus is like, well, just keep the law and you'll be saved. And he's like, well, I've been keeping the law since I was a child, but I still feel like I'm lacking something. And Jesus then says something to him that's very, very interesting. Jesus says, if you want to be perfect, sell all that you have, give it to the poor, and come follow me. And then he says, you will have treasures in heaven. Now, I find this text to really be challenging because a lot of times as individuals who are a part of a religious body or a denomination, we always think that, well, if I just keep the commandments or if I do these certain things, then I should be good. But here Jesus is like, well, I mean, yeah, if you want to be saved, keep the commandments, but if you want to take it a step higher, if you really want to follow me, if you really want to be perfect, I want you to sell all that you have and give to the poor. He's essentially saying like divest your life of all that you hold dear to yourself and invest your life into those individuals who would be considered less. Jesus is saying, give to the poor, help them, lift humanity. Serve those around you. Don't be so concerned about how much you can accumulate. Be more concerned with how much you can give away. That's in Matthew chapter 19. If you fast forward to Matthew chapter 20, Jesus tells a story of some workers who were in the vineyard, and some started in the morning, some started in the evening, but they all got the same amount. And so obviously those who are working in the morning are a little upset that they got paid the exact same amount as those who started an hour before cutoff time. And look what Jesus' response is. Jesus says in verse 16 of Matthew 20, he basically says, listen, the last will be first, and the first will be last. For many are called, but few are chosen. He's essentially saying, like, listen, the way I do things in the kingdom is not the way you do things here on earth. And the way I do things in the kingdom, it's about serving. It's about lifting people. That when you start off first, it's really not about you being first, but it's about putting other people ahead of you and blessing other people and not being so concerned about your position in the line and being more concerned about other people's position in the line. Well, then if you fast forward just a few more verses, again in Matthew 20, the disciples come to him, specifically the sons of Zebedee. Their mom comes and is like, hey, when you come into your kingdom, can you give my sons like your right and your left hand? And Jesus is like, that's not really my call. Like, I don't hand out seats in the kingdom. That's up to my Father. Whoever he gives it to, that's his prerogative, And then he says something very interesting. He says, that the rulers of the Gentiles lord authority over people, and they exercise great authority over individuals. Yet it shall not be so among you. He says, but whosoever desires to become great among you, let him be your servant. And whoever desires to be first among you, let him be your slave. Now again, this passage, it hits us again square in the face, where she's like, listen, in the kingdom of heaven, it's not about you being first. It's not about who serves you. In the kingdom of heaven, it's about who you serve and who you bless and who you lift. So in Matthew 19, he's saying, sell all you have and give to the poor. Bless them. In Matthew 20, he's saying, the first shall be last shall be first. It's not about your position in line. It's about how you promote other people in your line. And then again, he comes back and says, listen, it's not about who you serve. It's not about who serves you. It's about who you serve. Time and time again, Jesus is trying to drill into our minds that Kingdom of heaven is all about preferring people, serving people, not about yourself, but about putting others before ourselves. Well, I just want to encourage you that as you go throughout this week, and we're starting this week off, today's Monday, that you would just allow this message to sit on the forefront of your mind and ask God to show you, are you more concerned about being served, or are you more concerned about serving? Are you more concerned about acquiring wealth, or are you more concerned about giving wealth away? Are you more concerned about your position in line being first in line, or are you more concerned about making sure that those who come after you are blessed the same as you? And so I want to encourage you today, as you go about this day, allow the Holy Spirit to speak to you. Allow the Holy Spirit to show you where you fall as it relates to your own orientation, your own heart's disposition towards serving, towards lifting, towards blessing others. And if there is room for improvement and growth in your own life, to say, Spirit of the living God, come into me. May it be more about you and less about me. That's my prayer for you today. All right, have a wonderful day. Please share this message with someone. And as always, by God's grace, I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.